the first time in American history, a former president is facing criminal charges after Donald Trump was indicted in connection to an alleged hush money scheme involving adult film star Stormy Daniels. CNN correspondent Gloria Pazmino joins us live now from New York with the latest on this development from last night. Gloria, thank you so much for joining us there from New York. And we want to start off with the fact that there are still very many questions surrounding this, including exactly what the charges will be.
That's exactly right, Tammie. Good morning. We learned about that indictment late yesterday. A Manhattan grand jury voting to indict the former president, Donald Trump, in relation to that alleged crimes related to a hush money payment to an adult film star in the lead up to the 2016 election. But you are correct, that indictment is under seal at the moment. We do know from our sources and our reporting that Trump is likely facing up to 30 counts of business fraud charges. That is according to people familiar with the case. So while the indictment remains under seal, we do expect him to be facing those charges. Now, we expect the indictment to be unsealed next week when the former president surrenders, likely on Tuesday, is what we are expecting at this stage.
And at this point, as well as we're getting this information coming in, yesterday, everyone being taken aback by the fact that this is a historic moment in U.S. history, the fact that a former president has never faced charges like this before.
Absolutely, Tammie. I mean, we are definitely in uncharted territory when it comes to this indictment. But in some ways, many of us had been anticipating it because the former president had taken to social media several days ago to say that he was expecting to be arrested. We, of course, knew that the Manhattan DA, Alvin Bragg, was leading this investigation and that it was coming close to an end. Now, there was a lot of activity several days ago, and then it seemed to die down, and we had expected the grand jury to go into a break. So even those close to Trump had started to feel that maybe there wasn't going to be an indictment just yet, or that maybe they had possibly dodged a bullet there in terms of the former president being charged. That all changed very quickly yesterday when we learned that the vote had happened and that this grand jury had found enough evidence to say that they believe the former president should be charged with a crime. It will, of course, be up to a trial jury to decide whether or not the president is guilty or innocent. And this is just the very, very first step in what is likely to be a very long legal process involving a former president in a situation that we have never found ourselves in here in the United States.
And as you mentioned, the surrendering will likely take place sometime on Tuesday. And do you anticipate that this is something that Trump, being as vocal and as very media friendly, let's say, in the past, something that he will be doing publicly, making a show of it as he's done with so many things before?
Well, that part remains to be seen, Tammie. But, you know, Trump is someone who is known to have feared the possibility of criminal charges. This is not the first time that Trump finds himself having to deal with litigation, especially here in New York, where he made his name and his money and his career and eventually entered into politics. But what we are expecting to happen here next week on Tuesday, when the former president turns himself in, right here in the building behind me, the Manhattan Criminal Court, is exactly what happens with anyone that is accused of a crime here. They are brought here, they are processed through the system, they are fingerprinted, a mugshot will be taken of the president, and then he will be presented before a judge. It is likely that they will make some accommodations, like making sure that he can see that judge quickly. And then, of course, there's the question of the massive logistical and safety challenges that this creates for the city of New York and local law enforcement, which has to make sure that this can be done safely. And then there's, of course, the fact that this is a court where hundreds of people are processed every day. So it creates a massive challenge. Here you have a former president being indicted and facing criminal charges in a place that is extremely crowded and congested on a regular day. So we do, I wish I could tell you what we are going to expect on Tuesday, but really we are in uncharted territory when it comes to the indictment, the arrest, and a former president facing a judge for criminal allegations.
All right. Gloria Pazmino, thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it.